So guys, good morning and happy New Year's Eve. I hope you're all having a good day under these circumstances. Let's just make the best of it. So guys, today I'm going to do a review on Friday the 13th Part 2. I'm going to review the second one before the original for two reasons. Number one, this was the first horror VHS that I ever bought. I bought it when I was 12 years old, and I asked a stranger to buy it for me in WH Smith because I was still 6 years too young to watch it. And this movie also gave birth to Jason, as Pamela Voorhees was the killer in the original Friday the 13th. Now, similar to Halloween, the intention was to make this into an anthology. There was going to be a new story each Friday the 13th, but in light of the fact the first one made too much money, there was a change of plan, and they decided to roll with Jason as the main antagonist and the killer. Friday the 13th Part 2 was the directorial debut of Steve Miner. The film was successful. It made over $21 million on a $1.25 million budget. So for a debut on paper, it was a success. The film was set 5 years after the first one, and as I mentioned, this film does bring Jason in as the main antagonist. This was, where is it? Yeah. I can't get this round, so that's my little Jason tattoo. So this film was Jason pre-hockey mask, while he was still going through the town that dreaded sundown stage. I mean, I did like this movie. It was a fun movie to watch, but it wasn't really without its flaws either, like most movies, I suppose. It starts off with the lone survivor, Alice. She's having flashbacks and nightmares from the first movie when Mrs. Voorhees is trying to kill her. After one phone call from her mom, one prank phone call, and the jump scare with the cat, Alice finds Mrs. Voorhees' head in her fridge, and she is then stabbed with an ice pick. Now this part bothered many fans, and it bothered me as well. Jason can't talk. For all we know, Jason can't read. He's never interacted with anybody, and he also kills everybody he meets. How did he track down Alice? He would have had to read the yellow pages and negotiate public transport. So it was a little unrealistic. I suppose this was their way of just trying to plant the seed, but yeah, it was a little unrealistic. But once we get to the actual movie, the first two campers that we meet are Jeff and Sandra. They park their truck in town, and then they run over to a payphone. This was set in 1981. They run over to a payphone and they phone their friend Ted. As they're in the middle of the call, they meet Crazy Ralph, who tells them that they are doomed. Crazy Ralph is the most likable character in this film. We don't really see enough of him. And after they meet Crazy Ralph, their truck is towed. As they chase their truck down the road, it takes them to their friend Ted. This was part of an elaborate prank. Ted is somebody who is tailor-made to be savagely killed in a horror movie. But Ted literally dodges the bullet. He survives. So after this, we meet all of the campers, and this is where they plant the seed about Jason. They do so by the campfire, in a bar, and also when Jeff and Sandra make a big thing about venturing to Camp Blood. The movie does have to work quite hard to bring Jason to life. Jason only had a very minor role in the first movie, so they did have to work quite hard to bring the legend of Jason to life, and that will be the legacy of this movie. It laid the groundwork for the other sequels. Like, for me, in this one, there aren't really any strong characters. There aren't any characters that I seriously dislike, but there aren't any characters that you're really rooting for to survive. I think Amy Steele, who plays Ginny, does a good job as the final girl, but not much more than that. I think the other frustrating aspect is 2 of the kills are shot off screen. Now, I don't know if this is the director's vision, or I don't know if this was due to budgetary and time constraints. Anybody who's worked on like a film set will know how long makeup takes when you aren't having to deal with dead bodies. So it may have been the case that it was either budget or it was time, but it's always frustrating when people are killed off screen. But the movie does go some way to make up for this with the kills that we do see. Most notably the wheelchair kill, which was interesting, and also Jeff and Sandra are stabbed with a spear while they're making love. Now, the director's initial vision was to have like a full sex scene, and it would really drive home the message: you don't have sex in a horror movie. But because Marta Kober was underage, that idea was very quickly taken off the table. The scene where Ginny put on Mrs. Voorhees' jumper and talked to Jason as his mom was quite a good scene. I did enjoy that. You had Pamela Voorhees in the second one very briefly. The cat was let out of the bag because when Ginny raised up the axe, Jason could see his mom's decapitated head behind Ginny. So it was good in theory, but in practice it didn't quite work. And the end scene, for me, I liked the end scene. It had a really good jump scare when they opened the door slowly, very, very gingerly, expecting Jason, and it was Muffin the dog, who we all thought was dead. And Jason came through the window unmasked. So I did really like the end scene. The movie did leave us to guess the fate of one of the characters, Paul, who was Ginny's on-screen boyfriend, but I get the feeling he didn't make it. I mean, for me, despite the flaws, this was a good slasher movie. It did a lot of work for the Friday the 13th series in laying the groundwork for Jason and the legend of Jason. They did have to work quite hard to do it because there wasn't a lot to use from the first one, so I think it did an okay job. It has some good jump scares as well, and I would say this would be a good movie to start for anybody who's looking to get into the series. I still haven't seen the 2009 remake. That's definitely something that I hope to do very soon. So guys, thank you for listening to me. I hope that you're all able to have as productive a New Year's as possible in the current circumstances. So have a great New Year, and I will speak to you soon. Thank you so much.